Hey guys, what is up? Diartry here, coming at you with the new Grepolis tutorial, kind of. As you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be 7 quick tips for starting off in Grepolis. These are more beginner tips, but there may be one or two in here that some more experienced players didn't know of or haven't really taken advantage of. So the first tip is obviously to click right here and then just buy this several times. Yeah, that's not really actually, although it does really help. But no, but in all seriousness, the first tip is 5-minute farming and taking villages. So as you can see, here's my city, and then these are villages. So you take these over and you farm from them. So they give you 4 options originally. There's a research you can get in the academy that gives you 8 options. But basically, you have a 5-minute, 20-minute, 90-minute, and 240-minute. So before you want to go to bed, you want to do this 240-minute right here. And then while you're active, you want to do these 5 minutes as much as possible because, as you can see, in 5 minutes, you get 55. So in 10 minutes, it means you get 110. And over here, in 20 minutes, you get 121. Um, so 110 times 2 is 120. Or 2. Wow, okay, 220. So that's extra 100 over this 20-minute. So it's 100 extra resources. It's really, really, really useful. That's the best way to get all your resources. And that doesn't sound like much, but whenever you have 5, 6, 7 farms, it really adds up. So if I were to go in here and then farm from these, that'd be 337 resources. I just demanded from another one. And also, another thing with the farming villages is you get to level them up. So if you go in here and go to upgrade, you get to upgrade their level by sending resources to them. Typically, whenever you're with a bunch of alliance members nearby, you guys are. It's really good to upgrade them because it benefits the whole island of the alliance members. And also forced loyalty. This is something very important. I don't believe. Yeah, I do have one actually. So this right here, it says the mood of the farming villages will not sink through looting or demanding units for 6 hours. So for 6 hours, instead of pressing the demand option, I can press the loot option and not lose any loyalty. What loyalty is once you drop below 80% and you loot from it, then there's a chance it will revolt and you'll have to take it back over. It's just pain. Um, but when you have a forced loyalty, your loyalty doesn't go down for a set amount of time, depending. The one I had was 6 hours, so I could. And looting gives you double the resources, which is extremely good. So the 342 I was or 337 I was getting would turn to 674 every 5 minutes, which is really good. And if you research diplomacy, I believe it's called. Let's see here. Right here it is. So you need a level 4 academy, research diplomacy, and you'll gain an extra 15% additional resources from demanding and looting, which really adds up over time. And you will use quite a few troops, take in villages. Yeah, I mean you're gonna have to, but overall, the amount of resources you get, like today I haven't really farmed way too much, but I've gotten 6,400 from a single farm. Let's see, 7,000 from this one. You know, um, the difference is because this one's level 5, I've gained that much more than that level 4. So leveling up does matter. So on to the second tip. As you're building your very first city in a new world, you kind of want to equal out building your academy and your harbor together. Um, that way you kind of equalize the amount of resources you're spending. So because if you just upgrade, say the Academy a bunch. This isn't the best city to show. If you just upgrade your Academy a bunch, you're gonna use an extra. Right here, it's an extra 1,500 stone per upgrade. Um, and this harbors quite a bit of extra wood. Um, so, like, what you want to do is you kind of want to maybe upgrade the academy twice, upgrade your harbor once, kind of mix it up a little bit. That way, you don't have an abundance of one resource and then none of the other, and you can't even do anything to with the other resource because you're completely out of that one. So you kind of want to equalize it. That way, you get that way you can just constantly keep building something and get the most out of it. So the third tip is to do island quests as much as possible. They give a few things. Right here is an island quest. So they give the force loyalties, which I was talking about, and they give other things like resource production increase, free troops per hour or per so many hours, increased attack or defense, troop speed ups, yeah, things like that. There's several other things I'm probably missing, but those are the primary things you want. And what you have to do is, like, for example, this quest. Oh, they also give coins of wisdom and coins of war, which you use to get heroes. Um, and it takes quite a few, so it does take time to build up. And the more you do your quest, the more heroes you can get, which are really beneficial because there are a lot of heroes. I'm going to do a separate videos on heroes alone later on to explain each of the heroes, the costs, and what's best, what's good for you, what's not good for you as an individual player. And this is also the best way to get BP, which is battle points, early on during beginner protection. By attacking quests, because you do gain battle points from those. You do not gain battle points from attacking farming villages, though, and you want battle points to get more cities. So if you do those quests as much as possible, you're going to get forced loot, so you're going to get a lot more loot, you're going to get increased attacks, you're going to get free troops, you're going to get BP, you're going to get a bunch of stuff. So island quests are definitely really good to do. And the fourth tip is this is probably the second most important tip out of all of them. It's to follow the starting quests pretty closely. So whenever you start out, you're going to have a list of quests right around this area. And they're going to be like, oh, get your warehouse to level 10, you get this reward, which is maybe happiness, which is a spell that increases your production of everything by 50% for 4 hours. Maybe it's get your marketplace to level 5 and then you get free resources, which basically pays off for what you spent getting that. Those sort of things. And if you follow the starting quests pretty closely, you shouldn't run out of resources for a while, especially if you're 5-minute farming. You should have an abundance of resources and be able to build troops at the same time, which is very important starting out, because you don't just want a big city. You definitely need troops in order to defend your city and to take other cities. The fifth tip I have is the last 5 minutes of buildings are free to speed up. So, and the same with the researches, they're also free to speed up after the last 5 minutes. This can add up a lot over time, if considering how many buildings you build up. So if you're just on and you see a building at 5 minutes, just click that. And at the beginning, it's really, really useful, but because most upgrades are really low. Like here's one of my cities that I just got new. This building, I can instantly get that. It's a no-brainer. It saves so much time. Like, I spent 10 seconds instead of 5 minutes and 10 seconds right here. And then, this build's 3 hours, 5 minutes, I'll be able to shave off 5 minutes of that if I'm on at that time, which I will be. But early on, it's really, really good because all these builds are 5 minutes, 15 seconds, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. And this is a really small city, so this is perfect to show as an example. 5 minutes, 10 seconds, 5 minutes, 15 seconds, 8 minutes. I mean, it's extremely helpful to do those sort of things. It adds up a lot over time. Sixth tip I have for you is the higher level your Senate is, the quicker buildings will build. Uh, that's that's the whole point of upgrading your Senate. Say you're on your second city. This right here is the second city I took. I've got a bunch of resources in my first city. I want to grow the second city quickly. I'm going to send a bunch of resources to it, get it Senate up, and warehouse up a little bit. That way I can send more resources and build the Senate higher, because it will cost a decent bit of resources the higher up you go. And then the rest of the stuff I build will build a lot quicker. You may not want to do this idea with just your second city. I did this with my seventh city. That's because this one was just a really small city. I also did it a little with my second city because it was on a rock and didn't have farming villages. The reason I did this is because I found it because the beginner protection on this world was 6 days. So I had 6 days where I couldn't really attack anyone near me. So I founded a city on like the fourth day or something like that. That way I would have an advantage. And there's also some researches you can do in your academy that will help speed some stuff up and save some money. So as you can see, architecture right here is level 10 academy. You get that. The resource cost of all buildings in your city will be reduced by 15%, which is really, really nice. And that'll save you a lot of money considering how expensive some of the buildings get later on. And then the other upgrade I would suggest for speed is you need a level 13 academy, and it's called Crane. The construction time of all buildings in the city is reduced by 15%, which definitely adds up too. And the seventh and final tip I have would be build troops early on. Makes it I kind of went over this a little bit, but I wanted this as a separate tip just to kind of include it, because it's really important. Because if you don't have troops early on, you're going to get taken over because you can't defend yourself or you can't take anyone out. I guess since I kind of went over this tip a little bit already, I'll add something else. The advisors, whenever you do the quests I was talking about earlier that are over here, the starting out quest, they'll give you the advisors for free for a little bit, and use these advisors as much as you can. I also suggest trading a little bit of gold in. That way you can kind of extend them a little longer at the beginning of the world, because they are extremely beneficial. Like this commander right here gives your land units 20% more strength, so they fight 20% more effective. And at the beginning of a world, you'll trade 50 gold for 2,000 resources, roughly. So you spend 4,000 resources and you get this for 14 days, which is really worth it. The same thing with the captain. He's 20% naval unit increase, 2 times speed on trades. It gives you the attack planner, which is useful, and farming village overview, which is extremely, extrememe helpful. When you have multiple cities, you can just, if you have DIO tools, I believe is the plugin or the script, I should say, that allows you to press X and do this easily. But you just click through here, demand, and it's really helpful doing that. And the High Priestess, 50% favor production increase, 20% mythical unit increase. This guy right here, the merchant, increases your resource production by 30%, which is really useful because that's constant 30% every city. And the administrator is one of my favorites because he allows your building queue to have an extra 5 slots instead of 2 slots. You have 7 slots, and that really, really helps out. And he also gives you several of these other things that you can look over. I don't really use any of these, but he's definitely worth the extra 5 slots. And that's about it for all the tips I have for starting off. There's going to be a few other tip videos I have coming up soon. And I will put those in the description as soon as I get them out, and you can check them out. If it's going to be some revolt tips, some conquest tips, a few other things. Alright, I hope this video helped you guys out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.